Okay, so this story is about, I actually told the story the other day, but I was experimenting with the drone, and it turned out that the software wasn't working right, and it didn't record any of the audio. Got a lot of nice video because it was with the other drone. But anyway, I have to retell the story because, again, the audio didn't record. Anyway, when I was working out of Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, I was in an E&I electronic installation team, and I had a team. We were up there installing some radios for the space shuttle program, which was just starting up. So we were putting up the antenna poles. The space program wanted a wooden antenna towers because they were worried about the shuttle coming in and wanted to make sure they had the best signal they would, and didn't want to have any metal towers to interrupt the signals. And so they had us put up some antenna poles and the radios up there. And the location was Space Position was the name of the building. And what it did is they used that to position aircraft, to see the location and position of aircraft around the lake bed where they landed, which was where the space shuttle was going to be landing. Anyway, we were up there, and you could see all across the lake bed, and to the other side there was some mountains up there, hills or mountains, whatever. But right on the other side of the hill of the lake was some small hills, and the small hills had, were right on the other side of the lake bed, but which was still about 3 or 4 miles away from where we were on top of the hill. And we were out there having lunch one day, and all of a sudden we heard like brrr, brrr, and this rattling, and just periodically we'd see it. And then we noticed right before each burst, on the side of the hill, you could see a big puff of smoke. And it turns out it wasn't smoke, it was dust. And what they were doing, which we found out later by asking questions, they were actually firing the Gatling gun from the A-10 aircraft, which is the tank killer that you probably heard a lot about during the Gulf War. And they were sighted, and so every time we would see because you see it faster than the sound could get to us, so we'd see a puff of dust, and then you would hear the brrr, brrr. And so that was the A-10 gun firing. They were testing the gun. So I'm not sure when they were doing that testing, but that was right around the time that we were up there. I was there from 76, I think, to 1980. So sometime in that time period. Anyway, the other thing we saw out there, which was, we'd see puffs of dust with no sound. And they weren't big puffs of dust, but big enough to know that something was shot at the hillside. And turns out that they were actually testing a rail gun, which is a gun that fires projectiles using a magnet, rail of magnets, so that magnets would turn on and on, off and on and off and on in a sequence that would push the projectile out the barrel of the gun. And that's why they called it a rail gun, because the magnet was on a rail. Anyway, so that's another interesting thing you see how we were out there working the cutting edge of war technology. Anyway, all right, so that's about the end of the story. Okay, you guys can hear all the noise.